Aside from Winston and Jules, who are still keeping their relationship secret but are hanging out together in elevators a lot, for both kissing and quiet comforting purposes, most people seem to be on the brink of a breakdown at Gray Sloan Memorial. Owen has to face a crisis with his mother, Amelia deals with an enormous amount of pressure on her to perform, Joe's first day back proves to be a rough re-entry, Lucas is pretending everything's fine when it's not, which, you know, always works, and Bailey is losing her mind over the Quanan hydrogel situation. Not to stress you out, but people are unwell on Grey's Anatomy this week. Let's talk about it. Classic Owen Hunt, isn't it? Of course, this man finds himself in a situation in which he must rely on two of his ex-wives to save his mother's life. While he has pretty decent relationships with both of them and this only involves two of his exes, all three of his ex-wives happen to be world-class surgeons. Which certainly comes in handy when Evelyn Hunt is rushed into the ER in the middle of a stroke. Amelia is on her case immediately, and while it seems to be only a TIA, she and Owen agree that they need to get Evelyn a CT and run more tests immediately. The test results don't exactly have the best news. Amelia and Teddy inform Owen that Evelyn has bilateral carotid artery stenosis, both carotid arteries have significant plaque buildup, so she needs to be on blood thinners and watched closely. Owen sits with his mother, who seems to be doing well. She, who we know is very much into younger men, is already feeling well enough to flirt with Dr. Wes Bryant. He's back after 3 weeks with his brother, who is still in a coma, by the way, and give Owen grief about being emotionally closed off just like his father. She's a multitasker, this woman. And while Owen may not exactly want to hear his mother telling him to open up more, it's a good thing he's with her, she has another stroke. This one is even worse than the first, and she needs to be intubated. Amelia and Teddy discover a clot in her middle cerebral artery, and it needs to be removed immediately or she could die. Amelia needs Owen to understand how risky this surgery is. She wants him to prepare for the worst. He just wants her to get into that or right now. When we first see the pair, Owen is preparing to head out after leaving the kids with Teddy, and it feels as though Teddy is about to ask him to stay before she pulls back. We have to table that moment when Owen's mom Evelyn is brought into the hospital with symptoms that suggest she's had a stroke. Amelia and Teddy page Owen, who arrives quickly and begins immediately going into authority mode, questioning the status of her tests and getting her into a room. Amelia and Teddy assure him it seems to be a TIA and she's doing fine, but they've ordered a CT to check things. After giving Megan an update, Owen learns from Amelia and Teddy that the imaging was negative and they're going to start her on some medications to reduce her risk of future TIAs. They're going to get her admitted and monitor things from here, assuring him they've got this. As Amelia leaves, Teddy offers to clear her day to help Owen with anything he needs, but he makes it clear he's got things under control and rejects the help. Evelyn gets settled into her room, and she asks Owen if everything is okay as he seems to be on edge, snipping at her about flirting with the interns. He assures her he's fine, and she mentions how he reminds her so much of his father, always keeping things to himself. She recalls a time when his father seemed down and she'd come to learn a man had collapsed at his office and he spent 20 minutes performing CPR trying to save him, but he never once mentioned the man's death to her. She ponders how his dad would have felt better if he let it out and she begins to slur her words as Owen calls a code stroke. A scan shows she threw a clot to her brain. They're lucky Owen was there and caught it, as this type of clot can be fatal if not caught right away. As Simone takes Evelyn away to prep her for surgery, Amelia asks him if he knows what her wishes are, as his mom hasn't updated her advance directive in quite some time. Owen replies that he trusts Amelia, but she presses him for an answer and tries to explain the risks of the surgery, but he shuts the conversation down and shouts about her wasting precious time. As Amelia prepares for the surgery, Teddy comes to see her, and Amelia is understandably spiraling with a fear of something going wrong and her being to blame for Evelyn's death. At the same time, she knows she could never hand the case off to someone else. Teddy reminds her that she can do this and asks to accompany her in the OR. Welp. For those fans who were glad to see Teddy Altman, Kim Raver, and Owen Hunt, Kevin McKidd, move on from their roller coaster of a relationship on Grey's Anatomy, Thursdays, March 5th, new episode had good news, great news, and then very bad news. In the episode, Get Lucky, Owen revealed to Richard, James Pickens Jr., that he and Teddy had finally signed divorce papers, the good news, and then, in a moment of frustration, Teddy put Owen right in his place with words she's been swallowing for years, it seems, the great news, as she grappled with worries about whether she could successfully perform the same groundbreaking and risky heart operation, the ventral aorta, she'd done on Nora Young, Floriana Lima, for another patient, Owen. Tried to give her a pep talk, when you're backed into a corner, that is when you rise. I've seen it in war zones. I've seen it in the OR. I see it with our kids, he said. Don't put more pressure on me right now, she replied, I am just saying you can do this. You're just in your head. You need to take a breath, he started. Don't tell me what I need. That's not your job anymore, and, frankly, it was infuriating when it was, she snapped back. Ultimately, she and Winston Dugu, Anthony Hill, pulled it off, overcoming a bloody complication in the middle of the operation and saving the patient's life. Afterward, she thanked Owen for watching the kids during her surgery and apologized for biting his head off, and things progressed from there, hence, the bad news for Town haters. That's when the kissing began, and suddenly, all bets are off about what's next for these two, whose relationship has been a consistent source of drama for the better part of a decade on this show. Before this episode, Kim Raver teased that their relationship might not be completely over, telling TV Insider, I'll say. With Teddy and Owen, it's always exciting with them, so, it doesn't stay linear, which I think is really cool. Even though they're trying to figure out what's happening in their relationship, it's not a straight line, which, of course, is also great by the writers. And I think that's very fun to watch, fun and frustrating. It's complicated as always with the two of them, right? Always complicated indeed. After their romantic night together, Amelia was worried about telling Toni that she has a son. Fortunately, her fear ended up being for nothing, as Toni also has son. Needless to say, a playdate is in order. Jules and Mohunty were paired up on a patient this week, but Mohunty was in no mood to play nice. Her only goal was to impress Toni to secure a transfer to Boston, and she saw Jules as a threat to that, going as far as to prevent Jules from participating in a surgery. It all blew up in her face in the end, though, when their patient experienced complications and Toni had to step in. Now the guy will have to endure multiple additional surgeries, and he may not live long enough to go on safari with his wife. All he wanted was to see the zebras. Joe was thrilled to hand off her babies to a nanny for the first time, but that excitement was soured when she learned that Link has been sneaking off to his rental property for a lone time. Link apologized for the secrecy, but he also encouraged Joe to find an escape room of her own. A she shed? A dame den? A lady lair? Honestly, they're all terrible names, but if anyone in this couple deserves one, it's Joe. Simone spent much of the episode trying to convince Wes that she isn't trying to have a baby after he overheard Jules talking about freezing their eggs, but it turned out Wes had something far more important on his mind. His brother's epilepsy has gotten worse and he's now in a coma, so Wes is going out of town for a while. I just didn't want you to wonder where your lap dances went, he told Simone, implying that things are okay between them. For now. Okay, let's talk. Do you think this kiss will lead to a reconciliation between Owen and Teddy? Was Joe surprisingly chill about her husband secretly using his old apartment as a getaway? And can Jules and Mohunty's patient please just live long enough to see the zebras? After saying that Amelia needs a medical storyline on Grey's Anatomy, she gets one in a roundabout way. Meanwhile, Joe returns to work, and we get proof that doctors need to actually listen to surgeons who have a gut feeling about something. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 16 delivers some of the plots that made the show so special in the past, but it doesn't get near the peak. While Joe returned to work in a previous episode, it was only really to shadow. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 16 sees her return full-time. There's a lot going on for her right now, but if anyone can handle it, it's Joe Wilson. We've seen her deal with a lot more, and she thrives when there is a lot happening at work. Sure, exams are a different type of stress, but it's not the level of work that gets to her. It's sure to hit a little too close to home that I wish the doctors on this show would trust each other in stressful situations. It happens time and time again. As Jo deals with her patient bleeding out from somewhere, Helm, we need more of her, and Jules tell her that they need to pack the patient up and take her to the ICU. Jo knows that this isn't the right thing, but she listens to those around her. There is that shadow of doubt in her mind. What if she is too close to this and can't see clearly in the OR? But the way she keeps mulling it all over outside of the OR makes it clear that she was on to something. Camilla Luddington has that "I told you so" look when the patient starts to code, and Jo has to open her up in the ICU room, and I had to clap. She deserved to have that look. Now, if people had just listened to her in the first place. What this does make clear is that Jo did the right thing going into general surgery and switching to OBGYN. This move gave her the ability to look at medicine from two viewpoints, so she knew which part of the medicine to use. I expected from the start of the storyline and got confirmation at the end that Jo was thinking about her own situation, but not quite in the way I expected. As she opens up to Link, she admits that she looks at her daughters and thinks about the time that she almost died. It's the most human and understandable reaction, and it's something that I write from experience. I'm at a place where I joke about it with my eldest now, because we both have gallows humor, but it is a terrifying start to life.
Case and Tate were moved by the one-year anniversary of Monica's passing in the April 5th episode of Marshals, which also featured the reappearance of another well-known character from Yellowstone. One of the biggest television success stories of the past several years is Yellowstone, a modern western created by Taylor Sheridan. The original series follows the saga of the Dutton family, based out of their sprawling cattle ranch in Montana. The show blends family drama and murderous crime story elements, all framed beautifully against a neo-western backdrop. The series has since expanded into a full-on franchise, with shows both set in present day and others chronicling the Duttons' history. Every other month, it feels like another Yellowstone spin-off is in the works as a testament to the original show's success and growing legacy. With that in mind, we're just focusing on the original series, which premiered in 2018 and ran for 5 seasons before ending in 2024. This is the show that started it all, drawing in audiences with shocking spectacle and delightfully messy drama. Here are Yellowstone's 15 best episodes ranked, marking the highlights of the Duttons' gleefully over-the-top adventures. Marshals Episode 6 shares a key detail about Monica Dutton's death, finally giving us a timeline for when she passed away and lending context to a show that has thus far been strangely vague about the details of her passing. In fact, Out of the Shadows is probably the first episode of Marshals to really confront Monica's death, ending with a remembrance ceremony for the character attended by Chief Rainwater, Monica's grandfather Felix Long, Rudy Ramos, and members of the Broken Rock Reservation. It's during this ceremony that Rainwater reminds Case of his wife's heroics. After Case and his U.S. Marshal team track down and rescue several missing girls from the reservation, Rainwater expresses his gratitude